Hey, what's going on, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about what to expect on your first day at a shop. The question was asked more geared towards specifically a dealership, but I'm also going to toss in the independent shop just so you guys kind of have a rough idea of both. That way there's no other question. We'll make this like a multi-part kind of video. I can't recall the subscriber's name or which video it was on, but I want to say about a week back, I was asked, hey, what can I expect on my first day? I'm thinking about going to the dealership, etc. Looks like I'm going to get in. I'm like, all right, cool. A lot of information there. I'm just going to have to go ahead and put it in a video context. So here we are. So when I first started the dealership, this is what you can expect based off of past experience. That's all I can offer you right now. Your situation might be a little bit different, but you're going to see a lot of similarities. First thing is, they're going to show you around the shop, or at least they should show you around the shop. The second thing is, well, maybe almost tied with the first thing, they're going to show you where to put your stuff, like where to set up. So I guess that would be the first thing. First thing is, if you have your own toolbox and tools, they're going to show you where to put your toolbox and tools. Then they should show you, or probably will show you around the shop, to show you where stuff is, like specialty tools, where the parts department is, where the flush machines are, where the tire machine is, where the balancer is, where the alignment rack is. If you have a vehicle that is heavier in weight, like I don't know, Ram 3500, 2500, something that's really the is it GWP or GWR? The weight for the vehicle is extremely heavy. You might want a different lift, like a 10,000 pound lift versus a 12,000 pound lift or a 9,000 pound lift. So they'll have various lifts, and some of them can handle more and more weight. I've even seen some up close to 20. So it just depends on how many and what types of lifts they actually have in the shop. That'll help you decide where to park the vehicle. Depending on the size of the shop, you may get just one lift to solely work in and out of, and you might have like a joint or a shared lift with somebody else. If you work in a fairly large shop, you might have like two lifts to work on different stuff. So while you're waiting on parts for one, you can smash out something else. Something that always bothered me was when techs would park cars behind cars and you couldn't get cars out because you had to wait for them to move, and they couldn't move because they were doing some kind of software update. So you were pretty much stuck, and that's going to affect your time, but we'll talk about that later. Mostly going back to first day expectations, they're also going to have you sign a lot of paperwork. You'll fill out your W-2 forms, make sure everything's all lined up and ready to go for your pay. If you have direct deposit, they might set something like that up. If it's a dealership specifically, they're going to have training logins they're going to need you to do. You might have to do like KPA, which is like more for like safety and sexual harassment. Then you're going to have a completely separate login, more geared towards repair specifics, so you'll have to go on to that. That's going to be really important. We're going to talk about that here in a minute too. Once they do that, they'll show you the sales floor. They'll show you where the used car department is. If they have multiple departments, they'll show you where the wash or the detail area is. They'll show you where you can smoke, where you can eat, just stuff like that. Normally they'll give you some kind of discount for various purchases, whether you're purchasing parts or advertisement things like t-shirts, hats, etc. You'll also get some kind of 401k plan, medical, dental, all those. So you have a lot of paperwork to do in the beginning. All right, now getting down to the meat and potatoes. What are you going to expect during that first week or that first month while you're there? Expect a lot of testing, because if you're at a dealership, you're going to do a lot of testing online, trying to get your online qualifications done so they can mark you as a level 0 tech or a level 1 tech. Level 0 tech basically means you've gone through all the basic training and you can physically handle, touch, and operate all their vehicles that they have. They also have a thing called Tech Tube, where they show you all the latest little tiny tidbits and tricks for that month going on through future months, and you can become really proficient at being able to do your job as far as recalls go by watching the Tech Tube series to see how all that stuff breaks down. So that's really helpful. The finishing all your level stuff, so if you finish all your level 0 stuff and all your level 1 stuff, sometimes they offer you a way to be able to test out of something. So you can test out of it without having to physically go to the course, which then puts you in the next category. So those of you that are my college students out there that have already gone to like UTI or MIT or community college or something like that, and you've already got your degree or certificate in automotive, you can go on there, bang it out, and then on to the next thing. You never have to worry about getting sent to a class. However, if you're not really test savvy and you don't pass the test, you can expect a waiting period. And once you actually get done doing that course that you're supposed to go to, then a whole different module of training courses opens up, and you'll have to complete all those before you can go to any further classes. And as you complete the training, you'll go to the next class, etc., etc. My advice is that they say that they'll pay you some kind of flag rate for each hour that you did on the training. That's both on the clock and off the clock. What I did, my recommendation, and I was told I actually finished it in a really fast time frame. In fact, at that time, I had finished it faster than any other employee that they've ever had come through. I think I finished all my training in about 3 weeks. So I literally, day and night, and that's a lot of training to go through. I did all my level 0s, all my level 1s, and passed the assessment test to test out of level 1, so I never had to go to that course. 12 months later, they finally sent me to a noise, vibration, and harshness course, which then opened up all the modules for all the other stuff that I would have to go and do, which was pretty cool. But if you get it banged down, it's out of the way, you don't have to worry about it, and then you can move on and move forward, and you can show that you're certified to do various things, flushes, oil changes, alignments, brakes, etc., without breaking anything. And that's what they're looking for. They're also going to test you, not just the tests that you had to physically take on a computer, but they're going to test your abilities as a mechanic, a technician, whatever it is that you want to be. First, they'll throw something a little light towards you, like, hey, do this oil change. Then they're going to be like, all right, let's go ahead and do this brake job. Go ahead and do this alignment. Need you to do a tune-up. Need you to do a used car inspection. Need you to do a new car delivery, a PDI, pre-delivery inspection. Need you to do a PDI. Check it out, see, make sure all the up and ups, all the fluids are good, etc., etc. You know, put it in customer mode, out of shipping mode, all this good stuff. Then they're also going to test you on like what your abilities are as a mechanic versus a technician. They might throw something at you like, hey, this customer has a complaint, vehicle is a crank nose start. Can you pull it in and let me know what you think? And if you're not sure, feel free to come over and ask. And if you can't figure it out in a timely manner, let's say within a half an hour to an hour, they're going to come over to you and they're going to ask you, so what do you know so far? So just be aware of that. If you're mechanically inclined, then it's not a big deal. They'll come over and they'll be like, so where you at? And they'll ask where you're at as far as like removing and replacing that particular component. So mechanics versus the tech side. They're going to test you on both. And if you seem more mechanically inclined than you are diagnostically inclined, then they're going to start leaning on you more with the mechanical skill set, because they're like, well, hey, he got it done fairly quick. He didn't need to ask for any help. He's able to take it apart and put it back together. However, on diagnostic troubleshooting, we gave him a couple of jobs, and every single time we gave him the job, he had to come over and ask what the next step was, because he wasn't sure what the information was he had in front of him meant. So then they'll push you more towards the mechanic side. If you get pushed towards the mechanic side, it's not a bad thing, okay? But you'll be more of it geared towards like the heavy line side or light vehicle maintenance. Maybe you'll flushes here and there, PDIs whenever they come up and available. If you appear to be more diagnostically inclined, but you're slow as shit when it comes to taking something apart and putting it together, they might gear you more towards noise, vibration, and harshness, drivability, and electronic complaints. So those are the things that you'll be doing there. So just keep that in mind. It's whatever you're good at. Now, if you just suck at fucking both, you're going to get pushed out within that 90-day window. They will find a way to push you out by either chomping your hours down and sending you home early, or they'll just give you the jobs that you really, really are terrible at or dislike extremely. You show your emotion. Like a poker player. A poker player, you got those that can, they don't show no tell. And you got some that have tells for days. So if you're over there struggling on a car and you're like, fuck this and fuck that, and you're throwing shit, chances are they can see that you're frustrated and those are the things that you don't like, so they're going to try to dish you out more of those kind of jobs to push you out. So tell no tell. That's a good little piece of advice to keep in the back of your head. So those are some of the things that you can kind of expect from like your first day to your first week to your first month. But then what do you do after that? Well, if you want to be a master tech, then you have to also get your ASCs in the same exact path. Moving over towards the independent side, now getting away from the dealership side, what can you expect from the independent world? Independent world, they want to know what you're worth right away. There's no training seminar, there's no putting you through courses to see what you can and can't do. There is a complete crash course to see what you're made of within that first day, that first week, and that first month. They want to see what you can do and how you can do it, how fast you are doing it. So the first day they might start you off on a couple of lube oil filters, maybe some tire rotations, some brake jobs. They might throw an alignment your way. They might do a tune-up. They might want to see how fast you are at pulling an intake. You're going to have to clean waste disposal, take oil filters out, things like that. Then all of a sudden, week 1 hits and they're like, okay, during this whole week, he's pulled radiators, he's pulled intakes, he's done alternators, he's done starters, he's done batteries, so mechanically he's inclined. Now let's throw a wrench in the mix and see what he's made out of. So they'll be like, all right, we got a no crank, no star. We got a crank, no star. Go out there, pull it in, or drag it in, or coast it in, or wherever it's parked. Let's get it towed around once you start digging on that. And if you can't figure it out in like 15 to 30 minutes, that's not for you. Okay, well, what's the problem? I'm not really sure. I did this. Okay, well, let's take a look at this. So I'll have you take a look at it. They're gonna still keep you on that job because they wanna see if you start picking stuff up and if you can get it. And if you can't, then they understand where you're at right away. So then during that whole month, they're like, okay, so we can expect that his hours are gonna be a little bit laggy here in the beginning for like at least the first week or two. But after that, they should pick up, depending on where we figured out what he can do and what he can't do. So if he's more mechanically inclined than he is tech savvy, we're going to keep him on the mechanical side, and that's where he's going to go. If he's more tech savvy than he is mechanically inclined, maybe he might do more of that. But specifically, they're going to gear you towards your specialty. If you're fast as fuck when it comes to like steering, suspension, brakes, and alignments, those are the jobs you're primarily going to be given. If you're fast as fuck when it comes to light repair, but you're slow as hell when it comes to like heavy line repair and suspension, then guess what? You're going to get a light repair. Like timing belts, water pumps, spark plugs, valve cover gaskets, exhaust manifolds, etc., etc. Not every independent shop has a tire machine, and not every independent shop likes to do tires because it's hard to beat like Walmart prices, DTC prices, American Tire, Big O Tire. There's lots of different places out there. Shucks. Jesus, there's so many different tire shops out there that are smashing prices left and right. It makes it too difficult for an independent shop to sell those kind of jobs, not alignments, but tires and wheel balancing and things like that. It's just, there's no money in it, not for the independent world. So chances are of you actually doing tires in the independent world are like 0. Chances of you doing tires for a dealership are pretty big because they want new tires on almost every car. If you have less than like 4 or 5 30-seconds on any tire, they're gonna put 2 new tires on it because they don't want it to be a liability and come back and bite them in the ass. So yes, you can expect to do tires, a lot of tires on used car inventory when it comes to a dealership. Independent shop, it's whatever. We're there to fix the problem. Some independent shops may be more specific, like Smogs. They might be a steering and suspension and brake shop. You know, you might have your roundabout shop where they kind of do a little bit of everything. Then you have like your trans specialists and things like that. So it really also depends on what type of independent shop you actually go to work for. So those are just some things that I've noticed as far as my career path has gone, as far as how the first day goes, the first week goes, the first month goes, and how it works and the differences between the dealership and the independent lifestyle. I hope you guys got something from this video. Thanks as always for watching. I appreciate it. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, share your experiences in the comments with others, because I know there's a lot of questions that are being asked about this kind of stuff. You know, there might even be more questions about it, like how to prepare for your first day, things like that. And I might do a follow-up video on that, because there was a lot of things that I had to do to prepare for my first day, not just at the dealership, but at the independent shop. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Deuces.